Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome to this week's session in the principal's office. My name is Jamal Maxim. I am an igniter of champion leaders, and I will help you go to the principal's office and stay there. Everyone who's looking to step into school leadership and educational leadership or lead in a school in any way, I'm the person that can help you get there and stay there. And so this week we are talking about how much PD did you or should you do? A lot of times when we're preparing for teachers to return and we're thinking about how do we welcome them back, what we need to put into place, what we need to start doing, what we need to improve, and what we need to stop doing, we have to think about how much professional development is necessary for or needed for us to be successful and have a successful launch of the new school year. Now, I intentionally waited until the majority of the schools here where I live are open because I wanted it to be reflective. And if your district hasn't opened yet, it's good for you to be proactive. But here it is. Now, when you think about it from a school leadership standpoint, you recognize that most districts take up a certain amount of time for you of professional development, what orientation and celebrations from the previous year and those kind of things. And depending on how the contract is negotiated with the teachers, there's a certain amount of time that has to be allocated for teacher work time, meaning for them to set up their classrooms and get things ready, which is a reasonable expectation. If that's not negotiated in the contract, you definitely want to make sure you give it to them anyway. And so most of the time, here's the reality. As a principal, you are really only left with one day to acclimate your teachers, to get them ready for the upcoming school year. They get most of the time just one day with you. So what you do in that one day, in that 6 or 7 hour time span, knowing that you have to give them lunch, and most of the time I would give an hour for lunch during PD days. So you maybe have 6 hours, and so you have to make those 6 sessions count because you don't want to do 3 hours back to back. So you got to plug in breaks. So what do you do? What do you do for development? How much development should you do? And should you do any at all? So here's a strategy I'm going to give you. Just something to think about. The first thing is this. You want to give as much time as possible to the teachers so they can prepare. Give them the work time that they need because it's essential that they have the environment ready for kids to return. And so that means decorating their rooms, getting copies made, getting name tags created, putting things up with kids' names on it in expectation of work being put there, creating the activities for what I would call culture camp when they're teaching expectations. So it isn't just them sitting there hearing a bunch of rules and expectations, in a dogmatic way, but it's something that's engaging. They need time to do all that. Plus, it's not okay for teachers to have to take their own time in order to prepare for students' return. While many will do it, as a leader, you don't want to have that expectation. Okay? So, give as much time as possible so they can prepare. And then, especially now, you want to give them more time because they're going to need space and just time to get used to being in the building again, being in the room again, and really just thinking through what's it going to be like with this current environment, keeping kids, at a distance, keeping their masks on and all those kind of things. So you want to make sure you give them extra time right now. So you have to think about what PD is actually needed, because some people would think that PD is needed at the beginning of the year. You have to give it to them because they need to improve their teaching. They need to look at this data from the previous school year so we can hit the ground running. Yes, those things are important. Yes, professional development helps teachers improve in their practice, of course. But the beginning of the school year is a time for them to prepare, to get ready, and it's a time really for you to cast vision. There are other times and other ways you can sprinkle in development, whether it be during a grade level meeting or a what people call a staff meeting, which is a whole team, a whole school meeting, where you can do development. So it doesn't have to be crammed in to those moments. So think about this. There's mental preparation that's needed for yourself and for the teachers. There is not also the physical preparation, which I talked about. And so think about this. What PD did you provide this school year? Did you do just enough to cast vision, which is essential? You have to cast vision every year. You can't just go over data. Did you cast the vision? Did you say, this year, this is how our school is going to be? This year, here's the growth percentage that the students are going to get. This year, this is our focus for instruction. Did you cast the vision? So if you didn't, make sure you do. If you did, make sure you keep communicating the vision so that everything can be in alignment. And then, so reflect on the amount of PD you provided. Did you give them as much time as possible to prepare in their rooms and prepare mentally? Second, reflection. Did you cast vision? And then the third thing, what development is needed to keep things moving forward? Because there will be some development needed, but you have to determine what is needed. And it can't be just the new shiny object thing. It has to be the thing that would drive and push and propel and accelerate the instructional moments that you have. Now, I said this during the challenge, and I will say it again. Do not focus. Don't make the mistake of focusing on learning loss from the previous year and where you think they could have been if school would have been normal like last year. Don't think about that, because that is a factor that you cannot change. Focus on where they are now. Set a reasonable goal for them to grow academically. Set a percentage so that it'll be individualized for each student by the end of the year, and work towards that. Don't think about how many grade levels they're behind or anything like that, because unfortunately that was a reality before the pandemic. So those are the things I want you to reflect on as you think about the professional development that you did or are going to do. Remember, only do the development that's needed and do just enough so that teachers are not overwhelmed or feeling like, wow, this is just another thing we have to do. All right, so that's it for this week in the principal's office. Join me in about 30 minutes on Clubhouse so we can have the discussion. I will talk about these tips again in more detail, but also you'll have an opportunity to share what you're doing. And remember to like, share, and comment on this video. And tell me what you are doing, or give me the answers to the reflection questions that I asked. Now, if you need assistance with planning professional development or being strategic with your development so that you can ensure you're getting the most out of the instructional time you have and that you're allowing your teachers to be as successful as possible, which everybody wants, but sometimes we unknowingly include too much stuff. So if you want someone to help you be strategic with your development, strategic in your actions, I want you to reach out to me and I will help you. I will help you get things ready. I will help you determine what you need to do, and I'll help you put a strategy in place to keep things moving forward with clarity and with focus. All right, so that's it. Don't forget, join me tomorrow at the time of this is recorded on August 25th, tomorrow of 2021. Tomorrow, August 26th of 2021. 6 p.m. Eastern. It's the Ignite for Influence and Impact experience. So you definitely don't want to miss it. It's going to be live, but you must register to get the guides that go along with what will be shared. All right, that's it. We'll see you next week. I want you to be successful and lead like a champion. Bye-bye.